Morning, wine shippers. Welcome to our November webinar focusing on our October release. I will start here in just a moment as everybody kind of just files in, but I'm excited to be with you. Thank you for taking the time to learn with us today because we've added some pretty cool features to Awesome Client Portal in November or in October. But there's not too much to go over today. So this session definitely won't take a full hour. Also, I'll call out that today is election day. If you are having elections in your state, you should go vote. Anyway, see, we are one after, so let's get started. So I am Karen Strakowski. I am the Director of Client Training here at Wine Shipping, and it's my pleasure to work with you all today. A little bit about our webinar today. We are recording, and please enter your questions in the questions section of the webinar platform. You can start putting your questions in there as they come up, as I go over stuff, but at the end, we'll take time to answer them, and I will be able to, go into the software and show you whatever it is that you're asking about. So we're going to go over the features that we did this past October. I'll do a demo of it, and then we'll do some questions. And of course, any feedback that you want to share about this platform or my trainings, I'm all ears because I am here to get better and serve you the best way I possibly can. So what is it did we do in October, right? We had 2 releases. We had the Cascades at the beginning of the month and Pumpkin Spice. Of course, we had to do some pumpkin spice there for October, right? We did a lot of work on our Rule Center, and that's really exciting stuff that I'm going to show you. Some features that I think you're gonna really enjoy, and it's going to help with your order management. We're always working to strive to develop software to help make your order management easier. Awesome Client Portal was truly developed to help handle that post-purchase experience, right? Our POS systems are amazing at taking the orders and selling our products. But then once things have been purchased, sometimes those systems don't have the right tools to meet our customer needs. And so we have our strive to kind of fill that gap here at Wine Shipping and make your lives easier. So the first order of Rule Center that we did was we now have the ability to create rules in our Rule Center regarding ice packs. One major call out about that, right? So you can do things based on like a specific line item or recipient state. Now that being said, right, that you can have ice packs kind of removed automatically or added automatically. But I do want to do a major call out, especially regarding ice packs, is that with our Rule Center, rules are only applied when the order data first enters into Awesome Client Portal. So that is a really big call out here, right? So if you make changes to an order that is already existing in Awesome Client Portal, that rule is not going to apply. And because we already had some rules, right? We had some automation already built in under our temperature control side of our software tools, right? Automatically add ice pack if it is going to X state, right? The way now you could have conflicting rules, right? You could do a rule in Rule Center, and then, so if you had, for example, on Rule 19, we're showing here, if recipient state is any of New York and New Jersey, remove the ice pack. But in our temperature control section, that side of the rules kicks in after our Rule Center. And if you had a rule there that said automatically add an ice pack to New York and New Jersey, that ice pack is going to get re-added. So I just want to call out that kind of small little caveat. But the rule that isn't listed here that I will show you when I demo that I think is probably the coolest is if you don't want to be using the temperature control rules, right, in our temperature section, you can be really precise and say something like, if the carrier is using Wine Shipping's temp control service, automatically add an ice pack. That one, I love that. I'll show you that when I demo it. Okay, the next thing is in our Rule Center, we have a new way for you to create custom exceptions. So custom exceptions are pretty cool. You can make rules and have the warning here, right? Rule Center warning. So you can make your custom reasons to have like orders held in Action Center now. So you can build rules that automatically pause your orders for specific needs. So in this instance, and this is a perfect example, is the rule is, hey, if the recipient state is Alabama, right, create a Rule Center warning and you get to create what this rule says. So send the ABC form to the wine shipping service before releasing the hold, right? So you have the ability to create these custom rules. And then the way to clear that rule is just hit the authorized shipping. So once you've done the thing, whatever that rule is, then you can say authorized shipping, and then that's going to allow that rule that needs action to be removed. And then the third cool thing that we've done in Action Center. So, we've really struggled with the concept of special instructions because a lot of some of those older POS systems had the special instructions as a way to alert you or your team to take action or to do special things. And, wine shippings are operations teams, we don't read special instructions, but we know that those are really helpful for you. So what we've done is we have renamed, if your POS system has special instructions and you have special instructions on an order, those special instructions now will be visible under a new name called Action Center Instructions. And then what's really cool is we've now added a way to create rules around your special instructions. So you can create a rule, right, that says Action Center Instruction contains or is not empty. And when I go into the demo, you'll be able to see that, right? So in this instance, Action Center Instruction contains ice, then add an ice pack, right? Or Action Center is not empty, create a Rule Center warning that says, hey, read this in the Action Center instructions and do the thing that you're supposed to be doing. So these are for you to manage your orders, right? So some of the things that we've seen people do is ship with Spring Club, add ice, hold until November, right? Those are things that we see come through in special instructions. Those have now, again, been renamed to Action Center Instructions. And then you can create special rules regarding that in order for you to do those things in the special instruction field. We've added additional validation for Mississippi permits, right? So yay, we now can ship to Mississippi. That's exciting. Notice that Mississippi is part of our red states, right? These states in our compliance section, our permit section of Awesome Client Portal, mean that these are states that we need to have your permit on file. And we have gone ahead and added kind of the requirement, right, is that the permit is 6 digits and it starts with 0. And so this allows the system to only accept a permit that follows the way the permit actually exists. The other thing that we've done, right? These small little things can be really helpful. You know, some of our clients here at Wine Shipping, right? Sometimes they send future orders, right? And they might have had a date in there that it's from a previous year. Or you're looking back at your order data and you have a hard time knowing like what actual year that we're talking about when this order came through. And so you now can see that we'll show you the year, right? So it might be Friday, October 31st, but it could say 2024, right? Or 2022 or whatever it is. Could say 2026, right? Because now you'll be able to see the year that the requested ship date. In the past, we just showed the date. And we had feedback from you all. We love taking feedback to let you know, to add that. They said, hey, it would be really helpful if we could see what year that date is. So we added it. So we've done some small updates and we've done some debugging of some certain things. Again, another feedback we got is that everyone wanted to have a little bit more clarity when they exported it. Before, it used to just have this inventory movement export, and so you could just see, right, the columns, but it wasn't giving you like really strict, really big details in that export. And now when you can choose to export based on the line item, and that's going to give you much more detail of the status. So column E is going to give you more details about what's happening with that inventory movement in our system when you do those exports. Again, all based on feedback. Customers let us know that they wanted that visibility on that exports, and we have delivered on those requests. The other thing is if you're using Wine Shipping's premium gift card, and you know it if you are, and if you don't know what I'm talking about and you're curious, please reach out to service and talk to our customer service team or your account manager to find out what do they mean premium gift card. But if you have premium gift cards, you'll see it under your account preferences under the term gifting. And before, if you did not have a file uploaded, right, for an image, and you wanted to just be able to see what the gift card would look like without the image, it wouldn't allow you. You had to put in an image. So again, this is that small updates. We now allow you to generate the card preview without the image. So you can see it before the image and then after the image. And then some of the other things, we now have the ability, right? So bulk change carrier service. You used to see all the carrier services that Wine Shipping had available. And that, if you didn't use that carrier service, or that wasn't a carrier service that is part of the service with Wine Shipping, then it didn't make sense that was visible to you. And then we've also improved our tags for cleaner, faster tag performance rules in Rule Center. And I'm excited to let you know that I think this first October release in Awesome Client Portal will be able to bulk add tags into Awesome Client Portal. I'm really excited about that. Before, you used to be able to add a tag manually by the order, or you would have to export, and then if you wanted to bulk add them, the message, and then re-import. So now you're going to be able to use the bulk update and add tags in bulk. Okay, it's time for our demo. Let's get started here. So, I'm just gonna mosey on down over to Rule Center. As a reminder, Rule Center lives under Preferences and Tools, and you must be an admin to make rules or do anything in Preferences and Tools. So I'm gonna come over here to Rule Center here. And then if you haven't actually clicked that Rule Center and seen what, there's so many things. We are consistently adding new features to our Rule Center. And it's pretty exciting, all the new ways to automate your processes using Rule Center. If you're not sure if you've created a rule like that you did it right, it's totally appropriate for you to send an email to service and ask for someone to put a second set of eyes to make sure it worked right. So let's start with the ICE-PACK rules, right? And we have a lot of rules here, right? All the way down to Rule 16. I moved them all, the ones that we're gonna talk about today, to the top. And that's another big call out regarding Rule Center, is that the rules get applied in the order that they're in the Rule Center, and you can move them around. So you want to make sure that you don't have any rules that are conflicting with each other. But let's talk about this one, right? This is my favorite one for ICE-PACKs. If the carrier is any of, right, and we're listing our temp control service, automatically add an ICE-PACK. Now I know we're not in ICE-PACK season. Thank goodness, right? We're out of that. We're in that beautiful, ideal time of year to ship alcohol and ship wine. Great weather, not too cold, not too hot. You can also add these ICE-PACK rules based on a line item, right? So if this line item is on the order, automatically add an ICE-PACK. You also can do something like this, right? This is a more complicated rule. Hey, if the recipient state is any of, right, and we're listing a bunch of states here, and the requested ship date is in this range, add an ICE-PACK. So you can be really detailed on targeting specific types of orders to create that automation. And now you can see here, I have only one of these enabled, right? You want to make sure you have your rules enabled and then hit save. And when the blue is on, that means the rule is going. Moving down over here, let's move over to our second type of rules that we've added in here. And these create a Rule Center warning. So this allows you to create a custom rule, right? So in this case, if the requested ship date is in this range, create a Rule Center that says email customers about possible shipping delays due to holiday week, right? So you can set yourself a reminder here. Let's make one so you can see how cool it is. So I'm going to come down over here, and we're going to go, hey, let's say if the recipient state, right, is Alabama, then create a Rule Center warning that says email service the ABC form, and then save. And then again, I'm going to take this rule and I'm just going to pop it on up over here, a little higher up, and where I want it. So move it down over here. So you can type this in, and then when it goes into a needs action state, this is what it's going to say, right? It's going to say needs action, create Rule Center. And then you would again need to authorize the shipping once you've done the work. Okay, so I'm going to come down over here, and here is another one, right? Action Center. So this is for those special instructions, right? So again, we've changed the wording. So your POS system calls it special instructions. Now when that data comes into ACP, it's going to be called Action Center Instructions. So Action Center Instructions contains combine, right? It just needs to have one word that's in there, right? Contains, does not contain, is not empty, right? Create a rule center warning that says combine orders. Another one here is, right, is Action Center Instructions is not empty. Create a rule center that says, look at the instructions. So it seems pretty, obvious, but now you are able to, when that data comes in, then it'll be held in Action Center until you take action on that. Okay, so that's kind of the rule center area. Rule center is first, right? If you need to make edits to your fulfillment preferences, right? This is where, oops, I didn't save my rules. So fulfillment preferences, right? That's where you're going to see mine says order agents here. Coming soon, right? 2026, we're working on doing some cool stuff there. So let's mosey on down over here and let's look at our DTC permits. And you can see right here is our Mississippi. And all we have to do is add our permit, and then those validation rules will be there for you if you add them in there. Another major call out is if you haven't hung out or spent a lot of time over here and you haven't looked at this little bell over here, this is your notification section of Awesome Client Portal, right? So if you created those rules and you needed a needs action, you could turn this on, and then anytime there's a needs action, you would get sent an email. Or my favorite is the daily summary, because I get too many emails. So this is going to say, hey, send me an email at 4 o'clock and tell me everything that's in the Action Center that I need to know about. But really why I came here was this permit expiration. So this is another place, right? So that you could say, hey, send me an email when my permits are about to expire for those mandatory states. Or send me an email when any of the states are about to expire that I have permits in. And then hit save. I'm going to turn those off because I don't need to get all those emails. All right, and then let's just come on over here to the inventory movement section. This is where we show that export. So in the past, it was just inventory movement based export, and it would just show some basic information. This now gives you a line item based export. And I did make an export so you could see that really, right, the biggest call out with this export with the line item, see if I can get this over here to you guys, is column E is going to now show you the status of what's happening when you export in there. That was missing. So this is the line item export that I just did from Awesome Client Portal. And that, folks, is the major things. I could show account preferences. And if we go over here, go to gifting, right? This is where you come over here and you can generate a preview, right, of your thing you have, right? So pretty cool. If you are using our premium gift cards, you can create your own, right? You can add your logo, you can add a background, you can add a footer. So you can do this. You can add some preview text in there, just so you could see what it would look like, and then you can generate the card preview. So really cool to be able to create these beautiful custom premium gift cards. And so those are available to all wine shipping clients. If that's something you're interested in and you don't have it when you go into your account preferences, you can email service and we will get what we call a service change order and get that added into your account. There is an additional fee for those. Okay, so I'm kind of done with my demo here. What type of questions do I have? Oh, I'll get to that in a minute. Emily, do I have any questions? Yes?
Yes. Hey, Karen, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. Emily here to field the questions. I believe this one's around Action Center instructions. Do they display once they enter into ACP at Action Center or open orders?
Oh, they display in Action Center. Oh,
Great. My next question that we have here is, if I do a manual upload for an order with ice packs, for example, ice-UPS, will the Rule Center override that original instruction?
it will if you have, you know, it will if you have rules that override that, right? So if you upload a file and it uses the carrier code ice-UPS for a state of Alabama, and then you have a rule in our rule center that says remove ice packs for Alabama, it would remove that ice pack from that. So it will apply the rules, it will override as the data comes into the system, it is going to apply the rules to the data that's coming in as is. So if you have conflicting things, you want to be really careful about conflicting rules.
Thanks, Karen. The next question is, in Commerce 7, the instructions are shipping instructions. Is that also going to be under Action Center instructions?
Yes. Yes, those would be considered special instructions.
Great. I don't see any additional questions at this time.
Okay, we'll give it just a second. But then I will gladly call out that if you don't know about this session, we offer an Ask the Expert session. It's offered weekly. Either myself or some folks on my team will be there to answer any questions about Awesome Client Portal or premium tracking. So I think this is probably one of the most underused training sessions that we have available. You can find it on our website, right? Wineshipping.com under resources and then training, or you can scan this QR code. It will take you to that page. And then of course, we offered live training twice a day. Anything from learning more about Awesome Client Portal, orders section or shipments, the reporting. If you are curious about our just-in-time service, this is a brand new service that we started this year. Understanding more about temperature control settings, club management, all of that is available. And if you're like, okay, Karen, what do you mean by your website? I'm always over here in Awesome Client Portal. Because if you're an existing client, right, you might not be going to wineshipping.com very often. But here we are at wineshipping.com. You just go to resources and training opportunities, and you will be able to register for the November trainings that we have available to you. And that's a wrap. I want to thank you all so much for taking time to learn with me today. And have a great November. Happy Thanksgiving. Go vote if you have an election in your state. Have a great day. Bye.
Hey, Karen, can I interrupt you here? We got one more question that squeezed in at the last minute. Would you be able to show us where to request emails for upcoming expired permits?
Great question. I love that. Okay, great. I'm back over here. Love it. Okay. Some of the most underused parts of Awesome Client Portal, and it's hidden in there. So here I am, I'm in Action Center. Right next to your initials, right? I'm a KS. There's a little bell. This means notifications. You have the ability to set up email notifications, and these are user-based notifications. So user-based notifications mean that if you turn them on, you'll get the email. No one else on your team will get them. And here I'm gonna hit permit expiration, and then all states or only mandatory states, you turn them on, hit save, and now you'll get an email 30 days before your permit's about to expire. But since I'm here, I'm gonna go through what they are, right? Exception, these are gonna let you know any order that comes into Action Center that's in a needs action state, you're gonna get an email as it happens in real time. The daily summary, this is gonna give you a digest, right? Like what's in Action Center. So anything that needs action, anything that's on a fulfillment hold, anything that's on a weather hold, right? Anything that's in the Action Center is gonna send you a list of what's in there. This one lets you know if somebody on your team or yourself created a note on an order or reported a short ship or a mispick. This one can send you an email anytime you do an inventory movement, right? Whether it's an internal transfer or sending new product into wine shipping or sending, bringing new product in. Here's our permit. Order confirmation, this is really helpful if you are using wine shipping for wholesale direct to trade orders, right? So if you are using an omni-channel customer of wine shipping, this is very helpful. You'll get an email. Who's on the order will get an email about the order, and you can CC yourself. And then this one, you can set thresholds on low inventory, right? So what's low for you? And then another big call out is if you're using the low inventory notification, when you come on over to the inventory page, take into account that the notification is going to go based on what is in the building, not what is in the reserved and not as what is available. So if you are using a lot of future reservations or you have a lot of orders in the system that are reserved, right? It's based on the on-hand number. So that's when it's going to trigger that communication to you. If this is less than 3 cases, send me an email. If these numbers over here are above 3 cases, it is not going to send you an email. So anyway, that's my little rant on notifications, really underused section. These are user-based, and please take advantage of them. And any other questions since I've been rambling on, Emily?
Hey, Karen, no other questions.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all again. I appreciate you for taking the time to learn with me today, and thank you.